I would say that I definitely have a chance with Derren Brown. I'm a short man. He's also short. I might be his type. I look exotic. I'm Cuban. I'm Arabic. I think if I hang around the right circles, I might actually get a makeout sesh with Derren Brown. But today we're going to be taking a look at his appearance on a television program that I first saw many years ago. And this is what first introduced me to his style. And it is a very strong style that's often duplicated but never replicated. And here we're going to be taking a look at this appearance where he actually does use some props. He uses an envelope. He puts a card in that envelope, which is rare for him. Usually he likes to do things in what he calls invisible compromise, which means that there's nothing visible there. Everything is taking place mind to mind. So we get a little treat in that sense because he's using something that us mere mortal mentalist imitators would use as well.
Essentially what this is, I mean, this is a party trick, really. This is how I started. But I'll write something down behind my back, right? I'll do it behind my back so you can't see what the pencil's doing, and you can't guess what it says.
Is this for Judy or me or both of us?
This is just for Judy. Okay. I've now lost the pencil down the side of the sofa. I will seal it up in there. Now, Judy, this is a letter of the alphabet.
There's another pen if you want it.
Done it now. It's all written. Thank you. It's a letter of the alphabet. You couldn't possibly know what it is, so don't try and guess. It's not an R or a J, because that might be a little bit obvious. But just name at the moment what letter feels right to you.
A.
A for apple. Any particular reason why you'd say A?
No, it just came into my mind.
Came into your mind.
When you said
Have
that.
a look.
This is so spooky.
It doesn't need an A. Now that would seem... It's a little bit wonky, that's behind my back, but it would seem like a free choice.
How did you do that?
It would seem like a free choice, yes? And yet what I'm doing is I'm telling you to think of A, and this is essentially what it's about.
So you didn't know she was going to say A, you told her to say A?
Yes, but that felt like you've just made that A up just right then, didn't you, in your head?
Yeah.
Yeah, any particular reason?
What did you say? You said something like, I want you to think of a particular letter in the alphabet, any letter.
Not R and J.
No,
Not R
it
and
was
J.
before he said not R and J, and I immediately thought of A.
Maybe it was A. Maybe it was A for, in the and. Was it the and R and J?
No, it was before he said that.
What interests me the most about this clip is not the method. And I know that's what magicians tend to go to the most. They wonder, how did he do that? I wonder how. I want to know so then I could be Derren Brown too. You're not going to be Derren Brown in New Delhi, all right, Rajneesh? And here what makes Derren's style so attractive is that it's grounded in reality. It's something that could actually happen. We're prone to influence every single day. We watch commercials. Those commercials influence us. Certain things, the way they're placed, products on a store, all these things influence us to make certain decisions in certain ways. So it is completely plausible that an expert could actually get you to think of what they want you to think. In this case, something as simple as a letter of the alphabet. And notice the reaction is not, how did you do that trick? But how did you get me to think of the letter A, which is exactly what you want them to be thinking. You don't want them to be thinking of any potential method, because if you were doing this for real, there isn't a method. You're just influencing them somehow through maybe your hands, maybe your words, to get them to think of certain letters, or in this case, whatever it is that you want. Now, as far as handling, I did find it interesting because he's doing all the standard nail writer tropes where he's writing with a pencil behind his back, so that justifies the crummy handwriting of the nail writer. However, he puts it on an envelope that seems to be completely intact. It doesn't have a window because he hands it to her. So typically they have a window, and that's where you write with an apparatus on your nail or whatnot. And he's not doing that with this particular handling. So I feel like this handling in particular is poking at the magicians, going, ha, you think you know what I'm doing? You don't, bitch. You don't know anything. Of course, you could easily do this with something like Blackmail by Bobby Motto, which is one, if not of the best releases in mentalism in the past 20 years. It's a great effect. You have the card in the envelope. You don't need any nail writers. You technically carry the nail writer on you, and it still works excellently. But the point here is that because of Derren Brown's character, what the participants care about the most is that how did he get that letter in their minds? It's not about how he managed to get that letter written on that paper. That's just the proof.
Weird. And you're not going to tell us how he did it.
You're going to do a map
did.
trick,
Yes,
which has been baffling me all day because I can't see how you're going to do this.
All right, okay. Well, we've heard a number of times that psychics apparently have been able to tell where oil is by sort of hovering their hands over a map and supposed to be able to tell where to drill for oil. I think it's nonsense. I think what's happening is the psychic in question is picking up on these signals from people, and someone in the room knows where the oil is, and he can tell where it's supposed to be. So let me show you this. Come over here. This is a map of London.
Yeah.
All right? And we haven't set anything up. I haven't told you to help me out here. Or anything.
Not
This is
no, on the contrary,
absolutely
you said
genuine.
don't help you in any way, shape, or form, and I'm not going to.
Well, I appreciate that.
Now, again, I hate to delve into methods and whatnot, but there's a couple things here that are classic signs of pre-show work, meaning that there was some work done before the show started. Now, granted, pre-show work in itself can be an art form if done correctly. Some people do it terribly, which you could see on TV shows where, for example, they have a person write something down and then they tear it up and the person reaches into their pocket and takes out those torn bits of paper and they call back to the conversation that they had earlier before the camera started rolling. Here it's the exact opposite. The way Derren Brown has said it is that even the presenter is unaware that anything that he's talked about before the show started or the camera started rolling is going to be relevant to this particular demonstration. He even goes as far as saying that Derren Brown wanted him to have the least amount of help as possible, which is again another implication that there was some conversations about this effect that started before the camera started rolling. The art in Derren Brown and his mastery of mentalism is that he not only gives the presenters an effect that they're completely astonished for, but also the audience gets an amazing effect where it just seems like everything is completely hands off and it's just mind to mind.
What I'd like you to do is, without giving anything away by looking anywhere on the map, but think of somewhere in London, an address or a road or a place that has a significance for you of some sort.
Hang on.
Can you take a minute to do that?
Oh,
Nothing-
I've got one. Go on.
Nothing too obvious, not the first place you met Judy or anything
No,
like that. Something,
no.
all right, a little bit more obscure perhaps. Great, okay. Now, I want you to look at me and don't try and help me out here. Just put your hands by your sides. We can take just half a step nearer. All right, just look me right in the eye and keep looking at me and think of the place.
I'm thinking of
Can
it.
you make a mental image of it?
Yeah, I've got it fixed.
All
It's
right,
like a picture in the
fantastic.
head.
All right, I'm going to ask you to be absolutely quiet while I do this. I realise that may be cripplingly difficult. Just for a second. And just think about the place. Think about where it would be,
Yep.
what it looks like, how you'd get there if you're approaching from the river, where you'd go.
okay.
All right, whereabouts, or without looking at the map, whereabouts on the map it might be. And just think of that. And in your mind, direct me to the right place. And you're thinking of can you think the association? The association is a man. You're thinking of a man.
I am, yes.
Yeah, and it's not you, and it's not a relation. It's a man, and he's wearing unusual clothes. Yes, like
Yes.
it's like a hat, and it's got something in his mouth.
Yes.
Just think of it. Just think left, right. Just tell me where to go. I'm gonna right there, right there. Don't look.
I'm not looking.
Don't look. Can we get a camera? Yeah, just draw a circle around my finger, Judy. That'd be fantastic.
All right.
Can you tell me, as the camera comes in and just shows where that is?
Judy, you lift the map up. Just show the camera. You want to tell me?
Tell me where it was. Tell me what it was. You were thinking of Sherlock Holmes, weren't you?
I was thinking of Baker Street and Sherlock Holmes and the museum.
Can we
there.
come
We
in?
drive past it most mornings.
Can you see? Where did I get? Am I anywhere close?
You're on Baker Street,
It's Baker Street, the corner of Baker Street and Marylebone Road.
and that's where the museum is, just there, right in the middle of the circle. Come on, give it up.
Oh, there you go.
Another indicator that some conversation took place before the show is that the other presenter is immediately ready with the marker, ready to circle the location where this person happens to be thinking of, and he managed to tie it into a place. So not only are you getting the hit for that he's thinking of Sherlock Holmes, but he also gets the hit of the exact location the person is thinking of. And again, the participants are thinking in terms of the method being Derren Brown's ability to figure out these things that they're thinking of. It's not that there's a technical or a mechanical method. They're trying to figure out how is it that Derren Brown could get this information from their minds, which is paramount when creating magic tricks and mentalism effects like this. Of course, you could learn all of this in the PigCake Magic Academy, the home of over 1,500 videos going over card stuff, coin stuff, and even mentalism. The Mentalism Academy is a little bit more expensive, and by expensive, I mean only $10 a month, and you get access to all those videos, and I'm always uploading new content. The Card and Coin Academy are a more nominal fee, in this case $5 a month. You still get access to a bunch of videos, and I'm always uploading new content. As a matter of fact, this list is outdated. This list is outdated by like a year. So you get more content than this list even provides, and it still hasn't stopped rolling. So check it out. It's also how I make a good portion of my living. So you're also supporting the channel and videos like this.
I cannot begin to work out how that happened.
But you're telling me-
You
you're
couldn't
telling me what-
possibly have known. I mean, I, in that little pause before I thought of that,
Yes.
thought of because what amuses me about it is there are a lot of Japanese tourists always outside the Sherlock Holmes Museum, and I think a lot of them think that he really existed. And we usually find ourselves in the traffic there looking at it, and it's Baker Street, and it's our route in most mornings. And yet it was about the fifth thing that crossed my mind. I thought of Regent's Park. I thought of North End Road.
When
I
did
thought
you
of the
think
White
that?
Horse
When did you
Pond.
think then? You mean
Yeah,
just then?
just then. A few images about, because obviously I wanted it to be involving you as well. And then I thought, but we never talk about the Sherlock Holmes Museum, do we?
No?
Ever.
I'm a huge Holmes fan. I've been there many times myself. Yeah, it's. But you are telling me as we sit there, which is as we stand there, which is what it is.
And the A thing, even though it was much simpler, the A thing was extraordinary.
Weird. You'd never fail.
This right here is a perfect example of mastery of effect. In this case, the participants are thinking as to how Derren Brown could possibly have known this information in terms of his own abilities. They're not thinking of magic methods. They're not thinking of little things here or there that he might have done that actually gets that information from them. They're thinking of Derren Brown as if he's this person that's able to pick up this information from them through whatever means that he happens to have learned throughout his years of studying psychology and all these other things. And the way that you could do this is by paying attention to not only your character, but also the effect that they're being provided with. Of course, it doesn't help that Derren Brown has already established his credentials as a psychological mind reader, where he's able to not only influence you, but also pick up on information that you happen to be thinking of. But you could do this with your own character work and establishing that through previous tricks and maybe previous effects if you happen to be doing a set for an audience. But this is a great example of what you want participants to be thinking of after you complete anything. And it's a lot better than what my participants typically think of when I do an effect, which is, hey, how did you get in here? Police, police.
I see you again, when I see you again, when I see you again, when I see you again. When I see you again, when I see you again, when I see you again.